The fourth round of the 2015 historic Formula 4 Championship comes from Donington Park on the national circuit. We've got 32 cars here this weekend, and Powerlight Performance Electrics sponsor the motor race, the fourth round of the championship. Single header here. So say 32 cars entered, 32 cars took to qualifying earlier on this morning. And it was a driver having a one-off performance in Historic Formula 4. They've got pole position. We'll talk a bit about that in a moment. Powerlight, though, the sponsor of this race here at Donington Park, the 2-mile race circuit, and Dick Dixon's grid walk shows that Simon Hadfield is the returning driver, and he will start on pole position in the Lotus. Alongside him, Robert Wainwright on the second row. That'd be Will Nuttall and Richard Mitchell. Richard Mitchell, the championship leader in his Merlin Mark 20, the car run by Speed Sport. David Wilde and Jonathan Baines on the third row. Baines in his Merlin, coming over from the Classic Racing Car Championship this season, and really impressive. Mark Dagger-Hescu, his return to the series, the ex-low-cost driver, starts the 7th with, alongside him, Brian Morris. Chris Sharples, another returnee to the series in the Palliser, he'll start 9th. Good performance from him in qualifying. And James Buckton will start 10th. There's Andrew Mansell, he's 12th, alongside Danny Stanzel. Danny Stenzel back to racing after engine problems last time out at Silverstone. His dad starts directly behind him. That's Kevin Stanzel alongside him. Be Matt Wrigley driving his dad's car after an incident last weekend at Brands Hatch in another series. Alex Meek, he starts 15th with James Lovett alongside him, and Rob Smith and Daniel Pickett on the following row. We're about halfway down the grid. You can see a very large grid of historic Formula 4 1600 cars. Next up, we've got Philip Ledger and Mike Wrigley. There's Mike, his son Matt driving his car. Mike Wrigley will be driving the Alden. Behind, we've got Michael Wales in an all Merlin Mark 20, row 11, with Roger Arnold, who will start alongside him. On the 11th row, the beginning of the second, or the final third of the grid. It's Wales there on the left hand side of the picture, and Arnold on the screen now.
Get your hat on.
There's Michael Wales starting in 21st position. Then on the following row, the Nick Pancini car, the Titan, with Roy Shidu in the Macon, the only Macon on the grid in 24th. There's 62 car, that's Gareth Cordy, he starts alongside Gary McVeigh. Gary McVeigh behind. Ahead of him it's Philip Walker that starts 25th, you saw in your picture there. There's McVeigh in 27th, and Gareth Poole alongside him. The penultimate row, we see Michael Richins and Andrew Wiggins start there on row 15. The final row will be Chris Williams in the Coldwell and Keith Hazel in the Lotus to round off a fantastic 32 car grid at Donington Park. The cars head out then onto their green flag warming up lap. Hadfield leading them around in that Lotus. You can see the positions on your screen now that we've just run you through. Hadfield a 117 in qualifying, a second clear of anybody else. He did that with an average speed of 91 miles per hour. Wainwright, he won on the road at Silverstone last time at a transponder issue, though dropped him down. The penalty the HSCC have introduced for 2015 penalties for drivers without working transponders. That's what he had. So Richard Mitchell, who will start 4th, took his debut victory in circuit racing. So we're about to go racing at Donington Donington Park. Away we go. We're on board with John O'Baines. Next level off the front row between Hadfield and Wainwright. It's a great start though from Will Nuttall, who's looking to go down the inside of them. Backs out of there. It's Hadfield that leads round the outside. We see go Mark Dragahescu. He's made a good start, trying to grab 6th position away from John O'Baines. The cars flow out of Redgate Corner. All 32 cars made to start, which is great to see as they go onto the Craner curves. The most famous sights in British motorsport. Down into the old hairpin, and it's the top two trying to make the break from Nuttall there in 3rd. 4th is Richard Mitchell, followed by his Speed Sport teammate Mark Dragahescu. John O'Baines has slipped into 6th spot. So it's David Wild that hasn't made the quickest of starts. Here's the drop back. It's Hadfield that heads away as they head up towards Coppice as the field flow through McLean's. Safely on this first lap, and Will Nuttall struggling there to change up a gear, and that's allowed Hadfield and Wainwright to break away, and Richard Mitchell slips into 3rd spot, and Mark Dragahescu follows him through, so down to 5th place for Nuttall. Down the gears into the chicane, and has that allowed Hadfield and Wainwright to break the toe to the rest of the field? If it has, they'll be able to pull away as the battle rage behind. Nuttall sitting in the slipstream of Dragahescu. Mitchell trying to go with the top 2. Going to try and latch himself onto the back of them as they head on to the Craner curves for the 2nd time of this 20-minute race. They are absolutely together, Hadfield and Wainwright. Simon Hadfield's one of the best historic racers in the UK. Last time out at Silverstone, he was in his Chevron battling out with McLaren Works driver Andrew Kirkcaldy. Mitchell trying to go with them, the only novice in the field. Then Dragahescu and Nuttall battling it out for 4th. Up to stick for James Buckton. He only qualified 10th, remember, and more now heading towards where you'd expect to see him on the grid. He had a bad time at Silverstone with the car breaking in both qualifying and the race. On board with Danny Stansel, another driver that didn't have a very successful Silverstone with the car breaking. He's sitting behind Mike Wrigley, who's made a good start. As they go out of the chicane, it was a slow start from Stansel. He's fallen back, so they coming up across the line now to go on to lap 3. Will be something like 15 or 16 laps. Wrigley down the inside of James Lovett, that is, and Kevin Stansel tightens his turn and gets ahead of both of them, and Danny follows him through. So both the Stansels go past Wrigley and Lovett. The battle for 4th continues between Dragahescu and Nuttall. Into the old hairpin, Nuttall late on the brakes, trying to carry the speed through the corner. Pick up the battle between Baines and Morris a bit further back. Meanwhile though, Nuttall trying to challenge into Schwartz curve to get ahead of Mark Dragahescu. Meanwhile the top 2 are breaking away. They have made that break to Richard Mitchell now, so it'll be a pair of cars. As Danny Stansel gains 2 places through Schwartz curve. He squeezes up on the inside of his dad Kevin to get ahead of him. Mike Wrigley behind the pair in his Alden. The 2 Aldens with the Merlin in the middle. Battles all the way through the field in historic Formula Ford racing. Will Nuttall through the Craner curves, chasing Mark Dragahescu. Trying to get the run on him through up towards Schwartz curve. Slides his way through the corner. On board with John O'Baines then. He's defending for Brian Morris. No, he's attacking David Wild. Wild late on the brakes into the chicane to stay ahead of Baines. Brian Morris therefore quick out of the chicane onto the tail of Baines. It's the Neil Fowler Motorsport cars around Baines. Family team for him. Through Redgate Corner they go. Morris quick on the exit of the corner, but heading towards Hollywood, and the crane occurs. There's no way to go through, but Will Nuttall's finding a way out of the old hairpin. He's going past Mark Dragahescu. Nuttall up to 4th, and a spin. That's Danny Stansel that's had a rotation at the old hairpin. It's broadside in the middle of the circuit, but rejoined safely, which is good to see. Matt Wrigley on board with now in his father's Merlin, heading down towards the chicane, and diving down the inside comes Kevin Stansel. Gets that position as they head on to the start and finish straight. Meanwhile, on to Hollywood. It's Hadfield and Wainwright. They cannot be separated. A car length, maybe 2 between them. The Lotus, followed by the very quick Alden through the old hairpin. Wainwright now right on the gearbox of Hadfield, carrying a lot of speed through the old hairpin. Would Robert Wainwright, who was a second slower in qualifying, but Hadfield can't get away in the race. Will Nuttall attacking down towards Coppice corner. He's on the inside of Richard Mitchell, but tucks underneath him for the corner, clobbers the curves on the inside, and then will sit in the slipstream of Mitchell down the back straight, down towards the chicane. He's looking to the inside. The speed sport car powering ahead into the chicane, slings it sideways as Mitchell, and Nuttall always runs into the back of him. Had to get out of that. The car then broke away, and Will Nuttall, looking to gain a podium position, has spanned the car out. He's dropped to the wrong side of the top 10 for him. Does rejoin, but he'll be pretty frustrated with that. So into the craners, and it's the top 2. Hadfield still ahead of Wainwright. There's Mitchell now lonely 3rd. James Buckton's up to 4th. We've lost Mark Dragahescu. He's made a pit stop. Problems with his car. David Wilde being chased by John O'Baines and Brian Morris into the old hairpin. Up towards Schwartz curve they go. Battle behind. Look at this. 6-car battle being led by Kevin Stansel. That's James Lovett behind. They go up towards McLean's. Also got Matt Wrigley in there. More side-by-side action behind. John O'Baines now really attacking David Wilde down to the chicane. He's had a good run out of Coppice. Now he's going down the inside, and he'll have that position as long as he doesn't lock up into the chicane. And no, very smooth braking by Baines grabs him that position. Big gap though to catch for the next car. Out of Redgate for the top 2, Hadfield and Wainwright. They cannot be separated at this point. Buckton chasing Mitchell, he's closing him in. Then you've got the 5th place car there. Baines has already got away from the Neil Fowler Motorsport battle between David Wilde and Brian Morris. They're 6th and 7th. Great view down on the picturesque Donington Park circuit. Spectators on the banks enjoying this race. And there is Matt Wrigley being chased by James Lovett into the old hairpin. Oh, Wrigley goes deep into the old hairpin there. That's allowed Lovett to get a good run out of the corner. And he's coming past him, and Chris Sharple's in there as well. He didn't make the best of starts, but enjoying this battle. Up into McLean's, side by side still between Lovett and Wrigley. Good racing between the pair. Danny Stansel's recovering meanwhile, sitting in the slipstream, but the car ahead gets a good run and will go up on the inside into Redgate corner and gets the position done, and will chase after the next pack of cars. John O'Baines has still got David Wilde behind him, who's broke away from Brian Morris. Brian Morris dropped away from this pair. The battle for 6th position this is. Into the chicane. Baines just starting to break away from Wilde now. Meanwhile, Danny Stansel has closed up the battle ahead of him, so he's going past James Lovett. Now he's going past Matt Wrigley. round the outside into the chicane, 2 places taken in one swoop. Quick wave as he onto the front straight here, past the grandstand. Buckton's past Mitchell, that's a change for 3rd. 7 places gained there for Buckton, and it's John O'Baines chased them in 5th spot. He really is catching, isn't he? That gap was 4 or 5 seconds earlier in the race. There's Alex Meek behind Matt Wrigley, and behind the pair of them is Dan Pickett. They're at the rear of the 6-car battle. Andrew Wiggins just a bit further back, and a 3-car dice, which is the 62 car of Gareth Cordy gaining the position, is Alexis. Baines has almost caught the battle for 3rd now, and he's bringing David Wild with him. So as Mitchell and Buckton battle out for 3rd place, they've swapped round again, because last time we saw them, Buckton was in front. Now it's the 93 car of Mitchell. Mitchell racing the car that Michael O'Brien won in races last season. O'Brien now a BRDC Formula 4 race winner. Into Coppice they go. Baines on the tail now. He will be able to pick up that slipstream to tow him even closer to the pair of them. Their battle has allowed Baines to close. Buckton goes defensive. Baines is just content to sit behind him at the moment. Again, Mitchell goes deep into the chicane. He carries this speed through the exit though. We're now Buckton using the slipstream to tow up to it, which therefore gives him which means he can pounce on the inside line to take 3rd position back again. Then he slides out wide so Mitchell can attack on the exit. He's looking to the inside. Buckton defends that though, so Mitchell has to back out of it, and Baines comes around the outside of him onto the crane of curves, but he realises that's not a place he wants to be, so lets Mitchell stay ahead. Traffic just up the road as well. Mitchell flings it into the old hairpin. Drifting the car nicely there onto the tail of James Buckton as they now go up towards curves and up towards McLean's. He has to stay behind for now though, and again if they take not ideal racing lines, it means John O'Baines can close them back in. He seems quite happy just to sit behind them for now. He knows there's still a good 1/3 of the race to go. The top 2 are gone, there's no point trying to chase them, so see what happens between the pair of them. Mitchell dives down the inside. He has the position back. As they go down towards Redgate, James Buckton's back in the slipstream, and he comes back up on the inside. And he'll have the position back. So Buckton back to 3rd. Mitchell in 4th. Baines and Wild keeping a watching brief in 5th and 6th. So through the crane as they go and down towards the old hairpin. There's Baines 5th and Wild in 6th spot. Buckton swoops round the outside of the back marker. Mitchell follows him. And then John O'Baines comes up on the inside. It's Gareth Paul they're lapping. Can't do it there, so we'll do it at Coppice. This is going to allow the 2 in front to pull away. Now he passes Gareth Paul as that battle for 3rd go either side of the back marker ahead. That would have got his attention, and it's a change again. Mitchell back through into 3rd. And again, as they take not the ideal racing line, that's allowed Baines to close him back in. To close them back in. So it's the Redgate. And we're going to get a change again. As Buckton goes back ahead. Here comes Mitchell now, round the outside through Hollywood. Now they give him the inside for the Craners. That was brave, but he backed out of it. Meanwhile, Johnny Baines is content to sit in 5th spot. Count how many times they switch positions. Through towards curve now. Into McLean's. Up towards Coppice. Up the slight rise. Fling it into the corner. Baines has a very smooth driving style in comparison to the battle ahead that goes side by side again. They switch positions again. And then they re-switch positions as Buckton chops Richard Mitchell off there, and that's allowed Ronnie Baines to drive round the outside to down to 5th place for Mitchell now. So that's exactly what Baines was waiting to happen, and it has done. They've tripped over themselves and he's gained a spot, but he hasn't gained both of them, so he's going to have to work out a way past James Buckton. Is he be able to pull away now that it's clear of Richard Mitchell? Struck down to 5th, he could still come back into this. Of course, David Wild at the rear of the... He's actually behind Wild. Mitchell down to 6th. He's fighting back into the Craner curves. He can't quite do that though. It's flat out there. So David Wild into 5th. On board with Will Nuttall now. He's chased Brian Morris for the battle for 7th and 8th this is. He slipstreams him. He goes left. And Morris tries to defend him. He's put Nuttall into the pit exit, forcing Nuttall to exceed the track limits. So Buckton lapped one of the back markers there out of Coppice corner. Baines in a good slipstream down towards Chicane. Nuttall Buckton looking in his mirrors. He's having to defend the middle of the circuit. So Baines happy to sit behind. And Buckton flies over the curves there. He really hit them hard. They will see the last lap board as they cross the line. Baines has got a good run. He's coming up on the inside. He just backed out of that though. But he forced Buckton to carry too much speed into the corner. He has. He clipped the apex at way too much speed. James Buckton runs onto the grass and Johnny Baines gets that 3rd position. Great drive there. Now let's have a look what's happened last lap into McLean's. Off has gone Richard Mitchell, dropping out of 6th position. He looked down the inside of David Wild, looked up, clipped him. And has he broken the front left corner there? Into the chicane for the final time. Simon Hadfield has won 2nd spot for Robert Wainwright, and a delighted John Baines takes 3rd position. His first podium in the championship. With James Buckton following him home and David Wild. Richard Mitchell retired after the damage sustained there. But Simon Hadfield, he's won many historic races. Had to work for this one with Robert Wainwright sitting behind him. He did eventually drop off to the tune of 7.5 seconds. With Baines 3rd, Buckton 4th, Wild 5th. Will Nuttall took 6th in the end with Brian Morris behind. Andrew Mansell held off Mike Wrigley to finish 8th, and Kevin Stanzel rounded out the top 10 in another very exciting race. Especially that battle for 3rd with place changing happening more than once a lap. Clean racing throughout as well. Won't get much closer racing in the UK. James Lovett took 11th and Alex Meek just held on to 12th for 10th ahead of Rob Smith. Matt Wrigley behind the pair and Daniel Pickett. Nice close battle there for 12th. Philip Ledger beat Michael Wales in a good battle for 16th with Roy Schwerju in 18th. Philip Walker and Andrew Riggins round the 20, and of course it was Simon Hadfield that got the fastest lap at 1:17. Prior after the races, as usual, the historic Formula Ford gang get together. A lot to talk about after that race. we concentrated on that battle for third spot. But of course each driver has their own story to tell, with battles throughout the field. In 29 cars finished, it was only Richard Mitchell, Chris Sharples and Danny Stanzel that didn't finish. Everybody will be happy with how that one went, maybe apart from those 3 drivers that did not finish, because whether you're winning the race or finishing 23rd, there is a good battle to be had, and therefore enjoying your day's racing at Donington Park. And it's Richard Mitchell that goes away still as the championship leader despite not finishing, but it's Ben Mitchell. He only competed at Fruxton, but that double victory, that dominant double victory, sees him second, with Simon Toyne in third and Johnny Baines also in that equal third position. He's looking a shoe-in to battle for the championship after that very strong drive. Max Bartel sits fifth, again somebody that only competed at Fruxton, and James Buckton in sixth. Tiffin Adele runs seventh after his Fruxton efforts, and Stuart Baird behind him. Championship now heads to a couple of double headers. We head to Norfolk with Snetterton next in a couple of weeks, and then just 2 further weeks away from that is Cadwell Park, and then another single header at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit. It's 2 weeks after that, so a busy month of racing coming up for the historic Formula Ford Championship.